The dog runs ahead and the owner follows behind. But 2 legs can't outrun 4 legs. The dog ran up the hill and disappeared. Wait for Carl to follow. All he found was a bloody leaf. Carl's in a hurry. If something happens to the dog, he couldn't explain it to the chief. Suddenly the house in the distance attracted his attention. Carl hastened to follow. Walking in, Carl felt something was wrong with the place. He whispered the dog's name, but there was no response. He heard a noise in the next room. He thinks the dog must be in there. Slip into the house. Carl was careful. There could be a nasty battle ahead. He searched for the sound and went to the living room. Yet the scene in front of him left him momentarily transfixed. An old woman is feeding the dogs in the living room. Dogs are very well behaved and enjoy eating. Carl almost died of anger. He was worried about the safety of his dog. But the dog is enjoying himself here. Carl shovels his dog and feeds him, but the dog always bared his teeth at him, and now the dog is lying on his stomach and being groped by strangers. Carl was furious and thought the old woman had given the dog drugs, but the old woman said she had done nothing. Dogs don't like Carl because he's got too much of a military vibe. It reminds a dog of a bad experience. That's why they're so grumpy. Carl was speechless and asked again about the dog's injuries. The old woman said that the dog just cut the sole of his foot. The misunderstanding cleared up. Carl started chatting with them. The couple are botanists who live in seclusion in the mountains. Dogs are attracted by the smell of herbs, which is why they jump off the bus. But even though the dog loves it, he still has a job to do. Said goodbye to them. 1 man, 1 dog, and on their way again. A day's walk in the mountains. They finally came to the city. Carl wanted to treat himself well, but they have no money, no friends, no place to live. Carl comes up with a bad idea. He makes the dog do what he tells him to do. Make sure it has a place to eat and live. The dog looked out of the window curiously. The eyes were full of anticipation. That was a bad idea from Carl. He pretended to be blind in his dog owner's shirt and sunglasses, and dressed the dog as an army guide dog. He walked with his dog into the hotel. When he came to the front desk, Carl cut in line. The beauty took a look at them. Retired blind veterans. Thought he was an officer. And look at the dog. It's a military dog with a military badge. For a guest of this class, rooms and meals must be provided free of charge. The stratagem succeeded. Carl smiled triumphantly. The dog took over the sofa the first time he came to the room. But Carl didn't care because he was going out to play. But he was about to go out when the dog came out with his vest in his mouth. Look at the loyal dog. Carl thought it was funny. It's hard to go out, and how can I take you? He gestured into the room. Close the door. The dog howled heartily. He had no choice but to take the dog into the lift with him. Yet Carl had no idea. His own act of kindness almost led to an international dispute. Like can pay attention to me. See you next time.